We're about to have 5 very talented devs perform a play that I wrote for you. This play is called The Silver Twin. There's really not that much you need to know about the play, except for the fact that these 4 are going to sit here are an Amarian, a Galentian, a Minmatar, and a Kaldari on a trip into some very dangerous areas indeed. Thanks very much and enjoy the play.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to arrive at the first Stargate in our journey. Please ensure that you are seated and ready for the jumping procedure. There are now 10 jumps left until we reach the wormhole.
Excuse me. I believe I have to find a seat rather soon. Is this one taken?
No, not at all, go on.
That's better. I would not want to be standing when we go through the gate. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I've always been very much in favor of you people, you know.
What do you mean, you people?
You know, Mimitar.
Jumping now.
I'm from the Amar Empire, and you're from the Minmatar Republic, and there are certain differences between our respective cultures. And my nation has this historical record of, as it were...
Murder, invasion, and mass slavery.
Well, yes, to put it bluntly, yes. And now we're at war, even more so than we were before. And here's 2 of us on a flight to very dangerous places indeed. And I just don't want to inconvenience anyone before we get there, especially someone like you.
You think I'm going to start something here, don't you?
No, not at all. I don't want any trouble. I'm entirely at your mercy.
Why would you be at my mercy? What kind of a person do you think I am?
Excuse me?
I mean, has it ever occurred to you that I may possibly not be some kind of barbarian, or are we all the same in your eyes?
No, not at all. I mean, it did occur to me, and you're not the same. Good heavens, no.
Then why are you acting like I'm going to stab you?
Are you? No, I'm not. No, not at all.
Hey! I don't know if people noticed, but I'm a Galentian, sitting besides a Kaldari, and I can sit perfectly fine and still.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now approaching the next Stargate. There are now 9 jumps left.
My nation and his are at war right now. A vicious war. So we could be arguing, but we're not. We're perfectly at ease with each other. Look at him. Typical Kaldari, strict, curt. He's the faint aroma of fascism you always see in his people. We're headed into a wormhole that will transport this ship into a hideously dangerous area. And you know that this guy will not panic if something goes wrong. He won't start yelling at anyone. He's going to sit there, rigid as a pole, stay quiet, just like everyone of his kind stays quiet and peaceful when things go wrong. Instead of rocking the boat. They never rock the boat. They're quiet people who obey what they're told.
As opposed to the drugged-out, undisciplined case study of group psychology that you Galentians are.
Well, at least we still have our freedom.
And a total lack of purpose.
You mean a purpose like invading other nations?
Listen.
Taking over entire planets, totally ignoring sovereignty, bombing us from the skies?
Hey.
Jumping now.
Look, all right, I'm very sorry that I lost my temper. We're all on a very dangerous flight. We're all pretty goddamn tense. Could we please just keep the wars out of this? Just, like, not talk about any of the wars.
You're a Minmatar, sitting next to an Amarian, and you don't want to talk about the war?
That's right.
That's a bit of a reversal.
Look, there's always a war, okay? Always. everywhere. I've been at war with these people for my entire life. Even before I was born, I was at war with the Amar, just like you were probably set up against the Kaldari, and I'd rather not be. I've got better things to do than to stick a bullet in some Amarian's brain.
Oh, good.
If I have to, I'll fucking do it. But it'll be my choice.
There are, and I hesitate to draw attention to myself at this juncture, but there are all sorts of choices to be made. Choices of kindness, for example, or forgiveness, and empathy. And just so it's clear, I am not my empire, just like you appear not to be your republic.
Look, I just don't want people to be forced into roles and stereotypes. My nation is having a renaissance right now. There's all this amazing culture and innovation going on. By some of my countrymen, they only want the old ways, fighting the Amar, using all our resources for warfare, sending people like me, innocent people, into practically suicidal missions to rescue slaves that may not even want to join the Republic. There is a chance to do something different now, for once.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 8 jumps left.
And I'm sorry if this offends the rest of you, but I might be from the only nation that can still be molded and shaped in any way. Amar is totally set in stone, and your people are completely enslaved by your own system and by your religion. Galente offers everyone the freedom to do what they want, but since your people are so scattershot and indulgent, it doesn't really make much of a difference. And Kaldari, you have the potential to do something great, but the individual gets completely lost in the process.
Well, I don't know about indulgent.
You're right. You're
Hey!
completely right.
I said we were not indulgent.
I mean about us. About the Kaldari. We're a great nation, and we could be so much greater if we just let ourselves breathe a little.
Jumping now.
I'm a Mind Clash player. I don't know if you know the game. You sit down on this podium. You put your head inside this metal helmet. Your opponent sits across from you, and he does the same. And then you fight. It's hard to describe, but your minds are linked up in this grid, and you just beat the crap out of one another with the raw shape of your thoughts.
That sounds pretty brutal.
Oh, it is brutal, but it's so much more than that, and not just for me personally. There may be thousands of people out there, in the very same arena, not to mention the millions that are watching you from their homes. Everyone in either side is unified in their single pursuit of this clear and honorable goal. It's the only time that the masses of the Kaldari state are in perfect tune. No matter which competitor they support, for this one brief evening, they're united in that purpose. It's the purest form of expression that I know. And it's the only time in my life that I feel like I'm a single, unique individual who nonetheless serves a higher goal. And apparently I'm good at it. I've won plenty of games.
But you're not in the state now. You're on this flight with us, going through a wormhole that will throw you deep into low-security alliance territory. Why? Why is that?
Well, it's because the state is flawed. Anytime you want to build something out of the strengths of the masses, there will be someone who takes advantage of that. Mind Clash, as it is now, is completely corrupt from outside influences. You know, competition is fine. Competition is normal. But now it's all gambling and politics. There's no more purity in it. And maybe that's normal with Galente. Maybe you guys can deal with that. I don't know. And with that kind of pressure, people make mistakes. I nearly lost a game recently, and it could have cost my team its place in the division. So now I've been sent off in a training camp, away with my family and friends, into Nulltech space, where I'm supposed to learn my lesson. And if that shit were to be destroyed along the way, with my lying sponsors keep saying it isn't going to happen, even though they know the bloody risk involved, then I'll be a lesson to everyone back home in the state. Do what you're supposed to do, and don't rock the boat.
I envy you. Well, it's true. You have a purpose, at least.
I don't know about that.
Who are you?
I am a Mind Clash player.
Well, there you go.
You don't know who you are?
I have no idea. There's a million things you can do with the Galente Federation. A billion different people you can be. And I still haven't found who I am.
So where are you going?
I needed to see people who know how to make themselves into who they want to be.
Oh, or you're going to a religious seminar like me?
No. I'm going to a body modification conference, the biggest one in the cluster.
A what?
Body modding. You know, implants, body sculpting, cybernetic enhancements. It's being attended by people from the 4 empires. So it's not entirely legal, which is why they're holding it in nullsec rather than in empire space.
So you're literally going to turn yourself into someone else?
Yeah, I suppose.
Have you done anything so far?
Well, kind...
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 7 jumps left.
So what have you done?
Well,
I don't see that he's done anything particularly amazing. There's not an implant in sight.
look.
If you're going to all this trouble to attend a body modding conference, shouldn't you have, like, horns coming out of your head? Cybernetic arms and whatever else?
Maybe it's his eyes. Can they shoot lasers?
Look, don't!
No, it doesn't look like anything in there.
Maybe he's a robot in disguise or something. But it's a very good disguise, because I can't see a thing. I mean, look at him. There's like absolutely nothing.
I have 2 penises. Okay. I have a normal one and a metal one. A big metal one. It's called the Silver Twin. All right. Because I like silver.
Jumping now.
That's as far as I've got. I'm planning to do more stuff.
If the boy doesn't want to share, then he shouldn't. His body is his own, and his thoughts are between him and his God.
So what are you doing on this journey?
I'm attending a religious retreat on a golden planet in a large temple that's situated in the middle of great fields of wheat and barley. I'll spend my days working the land along with my own people, and my evenings studying the words of God and his emperors.
And being served by slaves.
The slaves will work alongside us in the fields. I will be there with them. We will share a life.
So they'll be your equals?
Yes, we will all be equals in our love for God and one another.
And are those the only slaves on the planet?
No.
I bet you've got slaves working in terrible conditions, in dangerous terrain, or down in the mines, or something else equally demeaning.
Yes, we have that too.
How can you go to a religious retreat and find any peace of mind when you know full well you've got people like that living their miserable lives on the very same planet?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 6 jumps left.
In all honesty, it's easier than being in the Empire itself, where you can't go anywhere without seeing the human misery we've created. I consider myself a faithful man. I am a man of God, my Amarian God, but I, the person that is me, would have been faithful no matter what nation I grew up in. It is in my nature and my calling. I'm considerate towards others, sometimes perhaps to a fault, and I believe with every fiber of my being that the answer to life's mysteries are not found within the flesh, but within our spirit. And I don't mean to insult you, because I'm sure you've done amazing things with yourself in ways I really don't want to hear about. But that is not my path to take. And I recently found myself straying from that path. So I needed to clear my head and get a break away from the Empire life.
Yeah, sounds like you're doubting your faith a bit.
Not the faith, just the men who claim to follow it.
Jumping now.
Actually, yes, the faith as well. There is no arguing that belief can bring an immense amount of pleasure and happiness and relief into a person's life. The spirit, when it's nourished, gives you joy like nothing else. And to me, religion is a blueprint for that nourishment. it's also a blueprint for subjugation. It excuses tyranny, violence, and anger, and we have plenty of all of those in the Amar Empire. I can't make my peace with that, and I know I won't hear the answer from other people. It needs to come from within me. Just like your truth, or whatever version of it you're after, you started looking for it within yourself, while you two, you're both looking for it in your society, some other people.
I left mine behind in case you didn't notice.
You did, but your ideals are still based on a perfect state. Not a perfect you, the individual, but a perfect nation. I think if all the corruption was cleared up, and if the Caldari state worked perfectly, the way it should in theory, then you'd be back there like a shot. Am I wrong? So what have we got? There's me, who looks to the individual in spirit. There's you, who looks to the individual in body. There's you, disappointed with how society has strayed from its true values. And then there's you, who I'm sorry I judged, because you're disappointed with the actual true values of your society, and you disagree with the efforts of the very people who are trying to restore those values. You want to change the world around you and the people who live in it, so that arguably you've got the most difficult task of all. And I say that with full respect to your efforts and your member.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 5 jumps left.
And you know what's amazing? We're good people here, all 4 of us. I'm sure we are. We want the best for ourselves, certainly, but also for our nations. And look where we are, a long way from home, on a terribly dangerous journey.
Yeah, we'll be hitting the wormhole soon.
I'm sure the Capsuleer knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he better. I haven't come all this way just to go into a wormhole, pop out the other side, and be blown to pieces by a bunch of waiting Capsuleers.
Who cares?
What do you mean?
You all have your reasons for going, and like you said, they're justified and honorable reasons. You're doing good things for yourself and your nations, but I'm not.
Oh, you're going to that body modification conference, and that's as good a reason as any.
It's just an excuse. I haven't come this way to be changed. I've come here hoping to die.
Jumping now.
I don't feel anything. I haven't felt anything for a long time. I'm leaving nothing behind in the Federation except a life that's rapidly fading away. No job that matters, no commitments, no trace of anything. No trace of any kind except whatever is in the logs they keep, which they keep on everyone else too. I spent what I had, I used it all up. And then I left and nobody noticed.
So the body modding?
The body modding is, I suppose, I have the faint hope, even if I know it's unreasonable, that it will unlock something within me, literally. That someone out there can reach into my body and find a little cage that's hold a purpose and open it up. Take away this old life and give me a new one. I don't honestly expect that to happen, but it's a nice dream. What I'm really doing is leaving the old life behind. If I can't do that at the convention, I'll keep moving. If I don't even make it to the convention, if we're blown out of the sky the moment we exit the wormhole, then, well, that's okay too. I'm sorry, it's a miserable attitude. I know I'm the saddest of the bunch here.
You're not.
Yes, I am. Like I said, you all have purpose, and you're good people. I'm not. For those I'm leaving behind, I'm barely more than a painful memory.
We're really going to die on this trip, aren't we? We're going to pass through that wormhole, and when we come out on the other side, some Capsuleer is going to think we're intruders, and he's going to kill us.
It's possible. It's very possible.
This might be the last trip we ever take.
Yes.
Listen, I'm not going to a training camp. I'm on this journey because I made a mistake. Like I said earlier, I nearly lost a game.
And what was the mistake?
Well, I was supposed to lose it. I took money from some people, and they wanted me to throw this match, but I couldn't. I couldn't make myself do it. Like I said, there's a lot of corruption in the system, and I decided to move against it.
That's pretty brave.
No, it isn't. I should have blown the whistle on it. I should have just come clean about the whole damn thing instead of taking the money.
You still took the money?
Yes, I did, in fact.
Let me be sure I understand this. You were paid, what, a substantial amount for losing that game, is that correct?
Yes.
And instead of doing what you were asked to do, or maybe making a formal protest, or just giving the money back,
I used it on this interstellar flight, and I ran. I'm meeting some people on the other side, and they'll help me bring my family over here. I didn't dare travel with them.
You fear reprisals?
Yes, I do. They come after me, and they won't care one bit who gets caught in the crossfire. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm a very good person.
At least these guys are doing something good.
You really think we might die?
Oh, yeah.
I'm in a bit of trouble as well.
I thought you wanted to get away from trouble and from the people who cause it. Culture instead of war, you said.
Yeah, I did say that. Yeah, there is a renaissance happening in the Republic, but any voice that makes any kind of sense is being outshouted by some stupid old men who cling to the dead values of blood and retribution. You can't get anything done anymore without some old soldier or warmongering hawk getting in the way of it. You know, I was involved in a lot of very promising projects, but these backward idiots just kept getting in my way, disrupting our work or just canceling it outright, saying it wasn't right to do these things when there were slaves elsewhere just waiting for us to save them. And this one guy in particular, he kept on just ruining everything I was working on. Anytime we thought we created something good, he'd show up and just have it broken to pieces.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 4 jumps left.
And what happened?
Okay, so this guy's an old war hero, so he's got a lot of respect and a lot of friends in very high places. And I thought if I could just convince him to see things my way, we could really turn it around. So I went to see him, and we had an argument, and I really lost my temper.
Jumping now.
Yeah, he didn't see things my way. Not even after I started yelling at him. In fact, he got even angrier. And he promised he'd do anything in his power to make sure that any project that I was ever involved in would be ruined. And there was a trophy in his room. Some old reward for military service, because we always reward the buggers who do the most bloodshed. And the trophy was heavy and sharp. It was heavy and sharp. And when the guy turned his back on me, I took the trophy and I swung it as hard as I could.
Did you?
No, he survived. And now him and all his friends, they're after me. They've got money and they've got power and a lot of connections to some very, very dangerous people, and they're after me.
That was a silly thing to do.
I know.
You know, with you being hunted by the Caldari corporate mafia and you being chased by Minmatar soldiers, someone could probably tattle on all of us and get whatever they wanted in return.
That's not very funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It probably isn't.
Hang on. What about you?
Me?
You said that someone could report all of us. Us. Including yourself. So what's your hidden sin?
Oh, wait, I don't think we should be discussing that sort of...
These people have just bared their souls to us. And you're going to hold back, are you? How very pious of you.
Oh, all right. I fell from grace. My master was a holder, one of the elites of Amarian society, and I was responsible for the well-being of his slaves. I will not mention his name, though he's well known in royal courts, but I will say that he did mistreat his slaves viciously sometimes, so it was my job to comfort them.
Oh, let me guess.
We all meet our God from different roads.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 3 jumps left.
So when you say comfort, what you mean is impregnated.
Not all of them, not all.
Just the odd one here and there, right?
It just happened. It shouldn't have, but it did. After every time I told myself that I would never do it again, that it wasn't my business and I was endangering both myself and these poor women. If the holder found out, he'd bring hell down on our heads. And then things got complicated.
So it was pregnancy.
Yes.
And you're sure the baby is yours?
Yes. All 5 of them.
Jumping now.
There was no way to hide this. The holders do sometimes exercise their right to
Rule.
Exactly. Anyway, yes. So it will happen on occasion that the holder gets someone pregnant. It's usually handled discreetly and kept well out of the public eye. Except now, half of my holders' personal slaves are very visibly pregnant, and people are either going to assume it was him, or that they can't trust the people in his court not to sleep with everyone they meet.
Which, you know, you did.
Yes, but only as a comfort of faith.
And you're sure all these babies are yours?
Yeah, it was a terrible insult to the holder. We had to run away. I didn't dare take all of them with me, so I arranged to have them smuggled into Losec through a different route.
And the fact that you got 5 slaves pregnant and then ran off with all of them
Means my former master is quite anxious to make an example of me, yes. Make several examples of me, I'm sure. And when he's done, there won't be anything left of me to recognize. Did I say something funny?
I'm sorry, I wasn't laughing at you, just... Oh, I might as well admit it. I'm on the run too.
From who?
Some nasty people, drug dealers. I was working for them for a while.
I hope you reported them to the authorities.
Oh, I did. I certainly did.
Good.
After I helped myself to some of their stuff.
How much did you take?
Oh, well...
How much?
About half a warehouse.
Half? That must have been several tons. You couldn't possibly have used up all those drugs. That would have killed you stone cold.
Oh, no, not at all. I sold them.
You did.
Yeah, well, most of them. I held one big party with the leftovers.
Ah.
One of my friends, the son of a famous politician, brought over a bunch of people, including a body modding expert, and things got a little out of hand.
That's where you got your modification done.
Yeah, and I learned a very, very valuable lesson.
Which was?
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the next Stargate. There are now 2 jumps left.
When you're so high that your eyeballs feel like they're going to vibrate out of your skull, and when you've gone so far into total drugged-out delirium that you don't even feel it when someone adds another penis to your body, one that's made of metal, by the way, and so big it's like a battleship torpedo. And when you come out of that haze of pain and drugs, frothing at the mouth with rage and power and hormones.
Yes.
Just hope that the first thing you don't see is a famous politician's son with his ripe, alluring, unconscious young ass sticking out from under a pile of sofa cushions and narcotics. So I sold the rest of the drugs, brought a ticket on this trip, and put the rest of the money in a special fund for the guy's hospital treatments.
Hospital.
Yeah, they had to do some reconstruction.
Jumping now.
On top of everything else I did, I also stole a data pad.
That's not so bad.
The data pad contains a map, and the map leads to a hidden area, and in the hidden area there is a cache with a ton of Tech 3 subsystems and weapons, all meant for capsuleers.
Okay, that's pretty bad. There's going to be a lot of capsuleers after you.
Yeah. Excuse me for a sec.
So, they're after all of us. Every single one of us is being hunted by entities that are rich, powerful, and very angry indeed. You know, I'm sure they're actively looking for us, hoping we'll do something stupid.
Probably.
Like jumping into low-sec with a bunch of capsuleers, probably waiting on the other side. On a trip that's got even chances of ending in our deaths, with no investigations and no questions asked. You know, I'd really be surprised if they had guards posted on every gate, hoping they'd spot us when we come through. Which they can't, of course. I mean, there's no particular way they could realize we were on board this ship. I mean, if we were going through a regular Stargate, they might be able to check the passenger lists, but not through a wormhole. They couldn't know we're on the ship. It's the one chance we have. Although, like, if one of us was totally dishonest, they could probably sell us out. I mean, bargain for their own life by giving up the other three.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the wormhole itself. This is our final jump. Once we pass through, we will be in a low security system controlled by a Capsuleer Alliance. Note that while we naturally uphold our safety guarantees to the fullest possible measure, anyone who has not signed an insurance waiver will not be liable for compensation to their families, should any issues arise. We would also like to remind our passengers that the escape pods on this vessel should be used only in direst need. We've just had someone jump ship, and his pod is not responding to calls. As we are on a strict time schedule, we will not pick up this person and will proceed on our course through the wormhole.
No, it can't be.
Jumping now.
That's it.
Yep.
Take a bow.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew, take a bow.
You fucker.